Who's responsible for teaching our children about the dangers of the internet? Is it the responsibility of the school system? What about the government? How about advertisers and society as a whole? Should parents be held completely responsible for what their children see and do on the internet? As parents, we are indeed responsible for what our children say, do, and watch. My name is Michelle Tate, and I would like to talk to you today about the dangers of the internet and the parents' responsibility to protect their children. The responsibility falls on each child's parents to secure the home internet and make sure that their children are safe. Parents need to know what their children are doing, what their children are watching. They need to be nearby because you never know what kind of pop-ups might come up or what kind of sites their children might accidentally go to. It is our responsibility to properly engage our children and always watch their every move. The internet will destroy our children if we allow it to. Parents cannot depend on outside agencies to protect their children. It is our responsibility. Ropalato states the average age of a child's first sighting of pornography is 11 years old. 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have viewed pornography online. This is completely inappropriate. The percent that I've just given you is only for adult sites. That doesn't include anything that pops up, advertisements. Excuse me. What about indecent images not associated with adult entertainment? What about walking through Walmart, the images that our children see on video games and movies? We have to protect our children from these things. When I would take my family to Walmart, we walk around the video section because there are just too many images that would be inappropriate for a 10, 9, 7, and 2-year-old. It is my responsibility as a parent to protect them from these images. Video games have become more and more geared toward adults. Video games used to be safe, they used to be fun. Think about games like Pac-Man and Zelda. That had a little bit of fighting in it, but it was nothing gory and inappropriate. People were not dressed inappropriately. Now, games are completely geared toward adults. They're not taking kids into consideration whatsoever. Games like Pot Farm and War Commander have rotating ads on the side of their Facebook page. This is something that parents have to be responsible of. When my husband was deployed, we would use Skype to talk to each other, but there were many times that we would have to wait a little while and get back onto the internet because there were Skype ads along the bottom of the page of women inappropriately dressed or things that were not appropriate for my children to watch. It was very disappointing for them, but it was something that we had to do to make sure that we were protecting our children. As parents, do we want to allow our children to be able to view these images into their sponge-like minds? They absorb everything that they watch. Do we want our daughters to see women dressing the way that they do or undressing? And then ask ourselves, why does my daughter want to dress like this? We need to protect our children. We need to teach them the proper things to view and when it's time for them to turn away. I'd like to give you an example. A few weeks ago, I was helping my 10-year-old son do a research project on World War II aircraft. I did a Google internet search, and much to my dismay, there were pictures of a completely naked woman holding guns and military weapons. My son was absolutely horrified, and fortunately he turned away quickly, but it was already too late. The image was already in his mind, and there's nothing that I can do to take that away. It was very disappointing. I use Google search often, but now apparently I will be checking everything out myself before I invite my children over to do research with them. Social networking sites could be detrimental to our children. Not only do they have access to the games that I just listed, but there is a real danger of strangers trying to befriend our children. 14% of students in the 10th to 12th grade have accepted an invitation to meet an online stranger in person or invited the stranger to meet them somewhere. That information is from the Enough is Enough Protecting Our Children site. 14% of 7th to 9th grade students reported that they had communicated with someone online about sexual things. 8% had been exposed to nude pictures, and 7% of our children were asked to show nude pictures of themselves. As parents, it is our responsibility to be close by. If parents are close by, these numbers would drastically go down because there would not be If somebody was to approach our children, we would be right there to intercept. Pornography used to be a very taboo subject. However, statistics now show on the Enough is Enough website that 40 million adults regularly visit internet pornography websites. Children watch and copy everything that their parents do. If they catch their parents watching pornography, they're going to think that it's just what adults do and that it's an appropriate thing to do. We have to watch our moves. We have to protect our children. It is absolutely detrimental. There is one law that has been passed. It's called the Children's Internet Protection Act and Neighborhood Internet Protection Act. I'm sorry, that's two laws that are currently in effect for the protection of children viewing internet pornography and explicit material online in public places. This only works for places like libraries and places where you can go and just use a computer for a short amount of time. The laws do nothing to protect our children at home or on public computers. Even at the library, if a child is to go to a website that requires you to enter your adult passcode or credit card number, generally speaking, those websites already have an appropriate content on their home page, and that's already been absorbed into their minds. It doesn't matter if they can get into the site or not, they've already seen enough. We need to take the time to write to our congressmen to ask them to do more to protect our children, to find ways to stop advertisers, to ask them to consider the fact that children are nearby, children are everywhere, and it is our moral responsibility to make sure that children are protected from these sites and from these pop-up ads. Most of the time when children are just trying to study, that's when they're shown these websites. They just pop up whenever they're doing, they're just innocent children. Excuse me. There are programs that you can buy to protect your computer. The K9 program is an excellent way to protect your children. As parents, we need to spend time with our children. We need to know where they are, what they're doing, who they're hanging out with, who they're talking to. It is absolutely our responsibility as parents to monitor what our children are doing when they're on the internet. Thank you for your time.